is Merlan, but many of you guys know me by Mia. I was one of two women that did 516 this year around. I just want to take a moment to thank you all. Thank you, friends and family, for being here today. Thank you for those who contributed towards 516, whether it was through prayer or finance. Thank you, Pastor Chris. I don't know where you are, but thank you for following your heart and with what God has placed on your heart, and just running through the visions He gives you. Honestly, guys, I didn't know exactly why God wanted me to do 516, but He did place some things on my heart, and I know that He wanted me to do it, and it was really clear. He made it really clear to me. But I couldn't help but feel that He snatched me out of my house, away from the comfort of family, friends, being a nanny, going to school, church, and helping at home with children, with my nieces and nephews. I was very hesitant to this big change, even though home wasn't easy. Before moving into the impact house, I kept imagining myself with a bunch of strangers living with them and crying myself to bed because I was filled with fear. Every time I thought of 516, that's what I kept seeing in my head until I realized that you're being led by fear again. So prior to 516, I lived in a lot of anxiety, constant anxiety, fear, and doubt. A few reasons why I did 516 was because I needed to know exactly what this Christian walk looked like. And my heart's desire was to know how it looked like so I can model it in my home one day. And also because I wanted to get rid of the lies that I believed in. I believed in many lies. To my part, it was a challenge to clearly discern truth from lies. So I had a few challenges during 516, given by my leaders. The most impactful one was the challenge to initiate conversations with the other 6 ladies I lived with. So every night for about 2 weeks, I had to talk to one of my roommates for a minimum of 20 minutes. Shelly remembers. If you know me, you know exactly why this was a challenge for me. But for those that don't know me, I personally prefer to be left alone. I wasn't very trusting of others, and that was due to fear and judgments that I had in my head. And though I was living in a community, I still had an individualistic mindset, and my loving leaders discerned that in me right away. So when I first got my challenge, my first night, it was very difficult for me. My focus was on the fact that I was losing out in sleep. Because I had to be up really early in the morning, y'all. And how, in my head, I was like, this person probably don't even want to talk to me. So anyways, long story short, I seriously dreaded this challenge, and I was very disappointed. But during this challenge, it didn't take long for me to reap the benefits of doing it. By the third night, I was excited to talk to the next person, just to get to know them. It was no longer a chore, but a joy in my heart. I got great feedbacks from the ladies, and I truly saw their heart for me and how nice they really were. I'm very grateful for this challenge. I experienced a different kind of freedom in many things. For the many things that I believed and assumed about them were proving to not be as they appeared to be. For example, I really thought in my heart that one of them was very bossy and rude. But now I understand her upbringing and how she meant no harm by her choice of words and actions. By this challenge alone, I grew closer to my sisters with less fear. I got to be known and grew to know others by sharing our hearts. I valued new relationships more and learned that people wouldn't usually hurt others intentionally. There's always a reason to why people do what they do and say what they say. And I must love them enough to get to know them and so that I can understand them right where they are and not reject them. I also saw that the more I reject others, the more I felt rejected personally. If it wasn't for community, vulnerability, transparency, and with God softening my heart, I wouldn't know Him and others as well as I know them today. My relationship with others has so much more depth now. And now that I'm seeing with His eyes, God's eyes, I can appreciate community more today. This is one way that I will be modeling Christianity in my home, through intentional communication, relationship with relentless pursuit through love. I want to share a little story with you guys. One thing I've gotten better at is speaking in front of a crowd. Every Saturday, every Saturday the group, 516, we would take turns sharing a short message to the children at the park during outreach. My first time sharing a message took 3 long weeks. I was so fearful that I prayed for rain 3 weeks in a row. During the first week, though I had a lesson prepared word for word, I wasn't mentally prepared to share it. So I prayed for rain and waited for a cancellation message from the leader, and I got them both. Then week 2 came along, and I felt the same way. So again, I prayed and prayed for rain. And I even went as far as asking others to pray for rain for me. And due to God's faithfulness, it started raining right before it was time to meet. Boy, was I happy. Right when I received the cancellation message, I became grateful that this was much easier than I thought. Because all I had to do was pray for rain, right? As I saw my prayers being answered, my confidence grew to the point that I had plans to meet with friends by week 3. But that didn't bother me. Why? Because I prayed for rain and it drizzled that morning, and in my head, at any moment, it will start raining and it will be canceled. So yes, it rained. Matter of fact, it poured that day. I remember. And yes, I got the message from the leaders, but things totally switched on me. Just as I was driving to meet up with my friends, Ryan texted the group that outreach was still on, despite the rain and how excited he was. I freaked out and whipped a U-turn so quick that I went back and grabbed my lessons and called my friends to explain the situation. And right before I got to the office, I prayed that God would really show up for me because every part of me did not want to do this message. In front of children, by the way. Long story short, I did it and I didn't die. It felt like I was going to. It took 3 weeks for me to realize the severeness of my fear of speaking in front of people. After that day, I was like, dang, Mia. Because you're so fearful, you prayed over rain, over the highlight of many unfortunate children. My heart broke after coming to that realization. I saw my heart for the community. It was not sacrificial. Looking back, I see how ridiculous it was for me to go through so much just to avoid an 8-minute talk. Since then, I've gotten much better when it comes to speaking arrangements. The anxiety and fear I experienced when doing so are just a reminder to submit perfectionism and control all into God and to fully rely on Him. Overall, if I had to sum this year up in a few words, it would be dead things back to life. Dead things back to life. My dead things back to life. For He gave them breath. As Joel 2:25 was spoken over me, I meditated on the words of the Lord. I will repay you for the years that the locusts have eaten. This scripture became my reality daily, in parts of me that I thought was dead to me. Receiving healing in so many areas of my life, 2 things stood out to me: my visions and my emotions. One I didn't know I had, and the other I simply suppressed. But both I felt was dead in me for many wounded reasons. So my vision. Running freely with the ministry God laid on my heart to reach both the spiritually and physically starved, my homemade Haitian spicy peanut butter is what's helping me along the way so that things can get up and running. My heart is yearning to pour back into the kingdom the way He desires me to. I'm running with this vision of PB&J. That's peanut butter and Jesus for you. That's not the only thing I learned this year. Lies filled my head that said, don't cry, don't share, keep it to yourself, no one cares. You know this already. It's nothing new. Emotions are not to be shared nor to be seen by others. It's weird and unaccepted here. But that wasn't truth. My emotions, the one I suppress. Yeah, that's right, I can express. My emotions have an evident pulse. I feel and show them in ways that I'm not ashamed of anymore. During my time here, God spoke to me, daughter, you're human. It's okay. You were never created to hold all things in, but to freely express them. And now, I'm Merlan. I communicate with others in ways that says, here I am with all my mess. Take it or take it. I mean, it was 516 after all, and they didn't have an option. Even in my weak moments of insecurity, I was challenged to step out in faith with my tears, my heart, and snot. Knowing and trusting that my brothers and sisters were always listening. Why? Because they love me. No matter the situation, they love me. And what I have to say is important to them. I've learned that my tears and emotions are from God. And now I believe that my emotions are good. And today, this truth helps me to be more expressive, not caring if my thoughts and feelings I share with those who care is too excessive. As I share deep thoughts with others, I feel like a new person. It was as if I needed permission to speak and express myself. God showed me He has already freed me to utilize such a beautiful gift that many others threw off the cliff. Did Jesus really take His time with me to resurrect many dead parts in me? Yeah, me. Still can't believe it. Through inner healing, through community, through different challenges, all for His glory and my well-being. Why, you ask? Because of His love for me, of course. I feel invested in. Actually, guys, I know I'm invested in. By the Most High, God did that. He did all of this healing in me, for me. He made a way for me to do this program. He made a way for me to receive correction, giving me new eyes and ears. He healed my heart. Thus far, this year has been the pivotal moment to my walk. Through it, I know parts of my purpose. Through it, I am sensitive to God's leading. Through it, I became a better person. Knowing His voice, I confidently say that Jeremiah 29:11 bears witness in my heart. He truly has a plan for me as He promised. He said He would, and He did for me. Wow, the beautiful mystery that promises to bring all dead things back to life. If only you say yes. Thank you.